Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the 9% Show. I am your host, Steven Burton, and here at the 9%, y'all know we keep everything 100. If I haven't done it, not about to do it, or not gonna do it, it will not come out my mouth. So here we are talking about a very emotional topic, I guess. But when I thought I was about to go out of business, okay, this was back in 2018, and I know I've shared a lot of stories so far of like, oh my goodness, all the good stuff. I did 300,000 my first year, over 2,000 orders and just great. Well, it didn't all go like that. I told you a lot of times that like this entrepreneurial journey is a roller coaster. It is full of ups and downs. And in this particular time in 2018, I literally thought I was going to go out of business. I thought it was over. I thought it was a wrap. I thought I was about to be the biggest failure ever and have to come home to my wife and say, I gotta go back to work, y'all. But, so I'm gonna share this story, and I'm also, speak on some topics or some bullet points that I feel like someone could learn from, I don't know if mistakes is the word. I mean, there was some mistakes, I guess, but I really didn't, I'll explain, but I don't know if I necessarily could have did anything different. Well, I guess I could, because that's what I'm about to talk about. But anyway, I'll let you be the judge of that. But anyway, I'm giving this information to hopefully help you out when you, find yourself in this particular situation. It kind of deals in the world of scaling and growing a business because it started off really great. So let me first put this thing in context. So as some of y'all might know, I started Perfect Tux in March of 2016. Okay. I got through my first year. I was profitable after like 4 or 5 months. Got through the first year, not even a first full year, and I did over $300,000 in revenue. I was profitable. Like I was like, okay, all right, we okay. But it still wasn't, I was barely profitable. It wasn't like it was like, shooting for, I wasn't going to Vegas and hitting the tables off that money. It was just, I was profitable. Things was going good. Come 2017, that's when everything kind of like just super took off. Like I had my first successful prom season and spring season, wedding season for the business. It just really took off. It was like I was still a one-man show. It was just crazy. There was so much orders coming in. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm killing it. I knew it was gonna work. I'm so smart. And yeah, everything was great. So that's where I'm gonna start this story. So 2017, let's just say, I don't know, maybe come June, July. I'm just getting over this busy season. I'm just could take a breath. I'm like, oh my gosh, we have killed it. I wish I looked up these numbers of what I did during that time, but it was the most money I've ever made in like a 2-3 month span. It was just crazy. And so from that point, I had some decisions to make because during that time, and I might have mentioned this before, like with scaling fast, you feel like you're drowning if you don't grow. And it was like we were so busy, I couldn't chat on the chat system because I had to ship. I had to go pick up stuff from my vendor. I was racing back every single day trying to catch UPS before they closed, and it was just like I needed some help. So my first thought process, mid 2017 was just like, I need some help. Like I need some help. I need to hire someone. I thought I could. I'm like, okay, this is great. Like I need some help. So around towards the end of 2017, I made my first hire. I hired somebody and put myself out there. I'll never forget the feeling of people interviewing for me, and I was just like, they go think I'm just small potatoes over here. I'm like, I was nervous to interview someone, and I'm giving the job and giving real money, and I'm the one nervous. But I was just like, try to interview somebody for like a customer service position, and just thinking that that's what I was slacking in. That's what I didn't have time for. So I need to hire somebody. So the one of the main points I'll say at this point, one of the points was just limited working capital. Okay. Remember, I always talk about runway. You always want to have a runway, meaning like how much money you have until you pretty much out of business, like to the checking account hit zero. And that was a problem of mine. It was like, I already said I quit my job cold turkey to start this business. I really didn't have, I gave myself, I had a little bit of money based on credit cards and things going on that I took to start the business. If you want to learn about how I started my business on limited funds, click this link over here and take you to that video, and you'll hear that story in more detail. But I didn't have enough working capital. At that point, one of the main lessons there is like, even if you have working capital to start, usually that working capital is going towards like paying your living, your living expenses just to survive. And hopefully you're not, just, super splurging on life and you just really, hone in on some of your spending. But it's that, and then just the regular operations of your business. For me, it was just a real adjustment getting used to having returns. Like, you sell something. If I was at an ice cream shop, I sold you a cup of ice cream. Congratulations. It tastes good. Thank you for your money. And I go about my business. But in my world, it was like, maybe in 28 days later, somebody's going to do a return request and request back $500. And I'm like, that hurts. And the thing about returns and thinking about cash flow and all this stuff, when you get a return, it's just not that you're giving back the money. You also pay merchant fees on top of that you're not getting back. Your shipping fees, maybe it costs you more to ship it, or maybe you did a free shipping thing. So I'm out that shipping money. So you're not necessarily, you out a whole lot more money than just whatever you're refunding back to the customer. So then just understanding my business was seasonal. It was seasonal. And we were really big on spring season. That's our time to get it in my industry. It's the spring. But come the fourth quarter, the fourth quarter, it gets extremely slow. And so around this time with 2017, when I hired my first employee, it was during the time where we were heading into a slow season. So limited working capital, as you can imagine, I really didn't have the money to pay someone when sales was going down. So, but my thought process even during that time was like, okay, let's just get over this hump. Let me get to like January, February, then March, then we about to kick it in gear again. Crazy thing about that first employee, I trained and come pretty much March, my peak season was about to hit, they quit on me. So, all that time I invested, while I didn't have enough sales coming in and training someone and getting them prepped for our busy season, they just quit. So all that money gone out the door. So coming up on this new season, and that's not even the main part. I mean, that was a hit, but I kind of had a calculated risk with that. I kind of knew what I was doing, but it was, around that time, it was just like, that was a tough blow right there. Also, what I decided, I'm now stepping into 2018, what I decided was like, we had an amazing 2017. We had an amazing year. But one of the big things that was driving a lot of the sales that I was doing at the time was digital marketing ads. And I probably spoke about this on previous episodes about specifically for us, like pay-per-click ads, like Google Shopping, Google ads, Facebook ads, those type of things. Like that was driving the majority of my business, like 95% of my business. And it was really just mastering that and making that profitable was like the biggest challenge at the time. But I figured it out and I was doing it. And I will say at that time, like credit to Google and, Facebook now, but specifically Google, they have made it a whole lot easier to work these ads. Like now it's like literally point and click and drag here and it's like you're good to go and let the algorithm work for itself and the machine learning tools and whatever they do. But at that time back then, like Google AdWords, matter of fact, it used to be called Google AdWords. That's how difficult it was. It used to be called Google AdWords. That was their ads account. And I would say it was so complicated. Like I bought a book like How to Google AdWords and it was about this thick. I probably still have it. I think it's in my drawer somewhere. I might have to bust it out. If I thought I was going to say that, I would have had it prepared right now, but I don't. But anyway, just trust me that it was hard. And if anybody know about Google AdWords, you know how difficult it was. But I figured it out and then I was making some money with it and we had a good year. But one thing you'll notice being a business owner, and all my business owners can speak to this, we get bombarded with emails and companies left and right just offering their services, offering their marketing services, offering their e-commerce service and the SEO service. And all these people just emailing me out the blue like, hey, I do this, I do this. And so one of the people that reached out to me, I was starting to learn about people that actually manages your ads for you. They would manage your marketing, your Google ads and your Facebook ads if you want them to. And they would take a fee that you would pay them and then they would just manage your ads for you. And I was like, well, shoot, if they could manage these ads for me And they, they hit me with their little spiel. We was having several Zoom meetings and things like that. And they were just telling me like, okay, you're doing this. We can wipe out all this negative stuff, clear up some space. And boy, you shooting for the moon. We could double what you're doing, like blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, shoot, that sounds good. That sounds great. And it's like, oh, it only costs this much to mess with y'all. I'm like, okay, let me figure this out. So, to my next bold point is like third-party management. That really screwed me in 2018. It ain't no which way about it. Matter of fact, I still feel a type of way and still feel like they owe me some money. That's how I feel. Okay. But I had good intentions. I said, you know what? I'm about to hire someone because I needed the customer service support. That didn't quite work out. The person quit on me. Actually, I think I hired my, I think around that time I hollered at Mel during that time. What about the co-founders of the 9% show? I was like, I need some help. I'm desperate. We're going to deep times. Like, come answer her phone. Can you please help me? Thank God she did. It's supported. But she came aboard. Didn't really have time to train. It was like threw her in the fire. It was crazy. But so about to get into this business season, I decided to work with this company. And, they had a contract and like they had to all these companies at the time had similar type of contracts and you had to be with them for X amount of months and all this type of stuff. Thank God nowadays, these companies, they're really a lot. I still get hit up every single day about these type of companies, but they're kind of more show and prove. Like if we don't do these results, you don't have to pay nothing. And those are the type of people I like. You know what I'm saying? If you claim that you could do X, Y, Z, prove it. And if you could do it, I'll be glad to pay you. We in business, we partners on this. But this particular time I was like, you know what? This big company, they're venture capital backed. I did my research. Like they got this IP software of doing Google AdWords and all this stuff. And I'm like, man, they about to kick butt with this thing. They did not. They actually did not beat my performance that I had the year before. They didn't do anything. I mean, they were giving me, weekly meetings and weekly reports and I was seeing what they was talking about. But what I really didn't get during that time was I think I did fully get it. But, sales was down versus 2017, my first peak year. And I'm like, okay, that don't quite make no sense. Like, this is my time to get it. And sales are down. And now I have an employee, okay? And now I'm paying this company to do something on a channel that's 95% of our revenue is coming from. And now it's going down. And now I'm paying this company on top of that, even more expense. And I'm just like, self, this ain't looking good. Like my business senses was twitching. And it was just like, this is not good. It does not feel good at all. And I'm trying to tell them, I'm like, I'm having meetings with this marketing company. I'm like, we need to make money right now. I don't care what y'all talking about. This is the time to get it. We need to make money right now. Like this is a 3-month span. We need to make this money. 2 months in, and I probably gave them too much. They hit me with the sob story of like, it takes, we got to give a couple of weeks of data and, about a month worth. Then once we get data, we can make the adjustments and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, it makes sense. It makes sense. You need some data. I understand data. I'm analytical. I get it. No. Gave him a couple more weeks, down, going down, do. Like, I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? What is going on? And I pulled the plug on him. I said, no, y'all fired. I was like 2 months in, I was like, okay, no, y'all fired. Y'all done messed up. And all I really much had was like a month left of like this peak season to really get it. And sure enough, I took back over the ads and everything took back off. Everything went up. Everything went up. So that experience with now we're adding on my peak season is now down. Okay. Now I have an employee and I paid this third party management company that was really, expensive at the time and they got their money. Okay. Did they feel bad that they didn't give me the results? No, they did not. No, they did not. Did they give me a refund? 10% back, 20% back? No, they didn't do nothing. They would say, well, reach out to us again and we'll be glad to try again. Maybe another. I'm like, y'all ain't trying again ever over here. Okay. Period. Okay. I'm still a little hot about that. Okay, but whatever. So we get through the season and I know it was all bad. Like this was no part of it. And even at that time, I would say again, about June, July, now we're in 2018. I was like, you know what? It felt, I had money in the bank. Everything was good. But I was like, I just experienced 2017, the year before of of how slow it got after spring and summer. It got super, super dead. And I'm like, what am I supposed to do here? And so anyways, this time is coming. And it leads me to my next part of my story that I hope people can learn from, is applying for capital at the wrong time. I've mentioned this in previous videos, is that you never, ever apply for capital when you need it desperately. And if you're wondering why, I'm glad you asked. I'm about to break it down. Around this time, we are still new. You know, even though we was technically starting my third year in business, it was really just 2 full years that I had of figuring this thing out. So like, you know, all this stuff was still new to me. Don't make it, you know, I had figured out the spring, I had cracked the code for our busy season, but I didn't crack the code for the rest of the year. So I might have mentioned on other episodes that, you know, a great resource and to get capital is like PayPal. PayPal working capital give you these loans. And at the time I was accepting PayPal and I was accepting Stripe. And Stripe was where majority of my sales was, you know, my credit card transactions was going through, but they didn't offer working capital at this time. So I had got a first loan through PayPal before, and I paid it off and it was no problem. And literally just a month before I applied this time, they would offer me a couple, you know, tens of thousands of dollars. Well, not tens of dollars. It was probably like 10, 15, I don't know. But that's big money back then. It's still big money now. I'll take that right now. But I sure enough applied for it and they denied. I was like, oh, I was like, what? I was like, there was nothing you could have told me that I was about to be denied for this loan. I got sales coming in. What's the problem? And again, it's off of your sales history. They know. They see what's going on. They see that last year you did even more with us. And now you're going down and you're going down, and now you want to apply for something? Nah, we're good. Like, so I'm like, okay, what else can I do? I can't apply for a traditional business loan at a bank. I don't have 2 full years of taxes. And even if I did, I wasn't that profitable. I didn't make that much money. I'm just like, okay, what I'm going to do? My credit card's maxed out. Like my business credit cards are maxed out. Like everything is hitting the fan right now. The credit cards that I used to start the business, the zero APR is no longer zero APR. I owe money on that. Like I thought I was going to pay it off in 6 months after I started my business. Sounded like a great idea at the time. It was a great idea. I started my business and I'm still here. But now everything hit the fan and I still owe this money. So all this stuff is starting to hit the fan. And we're creeping back again into the slow season of that is still naturally so for my industry. And I'm like, what am I about to do? I'm looking at my checking and I'm just like, I am not about to make it. I literally was sick to my stomach. I was literally having, I was going home. I don't even know if I was told my wife at the time. Like, I'm pretty sure she knew my mood swings and and I mentioned on a previous episode, like this was the first time I ever felt depression. And this was some depression right here. But I was very like sick to my stomach. Like I could not, it was like I had the Enron company and everything, the books was now held and like you about to go out of business and all this stuff. Like I felt like it was a wrap. But my biggest thing, I had to adjust real quick. I was like, how can I get some money? How can I get some money? And what I did find, and this was a crazy thing, and I hate that I did this to this day. And this is the messed up part of business, because as business owners, we get hit up by this stuff all the time. And it's these, if you think only payday loans exist in the W-2 world, okay, we got some, what they call it, predatory lending in the business credit space as well. And at the time, I'm Googling, looking for I'm applying for anything I can. And I came across this loan that could give me enough money all I needed to do was get to my next peak season. I had figured out the peak season. Like I figured out this 3-4 months, but I needed to get there. That was probably about November, December. I need to survive like 2 months. And the only thing that I could get approved for, that at least that I found at the time, was this, it was a loan, but it was paid back daily, like daily paybacks, like out your checking account. They take the money daily. And it was a really high interest rate. It was really BS. Like I'm talking like it didn't take me long to realize like this was a bad decision. Like the day I got the money and they based it off, all they really based it off was on your bank statements. Like, do you have money in the bank? The previous 3 bank statements. And the reason why they only care about bank statements is because they're just taking your money every single day. They just want to see that money getting deposited in your account, and they could take out their piece or whatever. Like it was really a bad situation. And I will say I had that for about a month. Kind of this leads me into December. And what I'll say about that loan, even though it was bad, it was still a lifeline. It was still allowed me a chance to get to where I need to get to. And sometimes you'll find yourself in business where you just got to do what you got to do. Like at the end of the day, it's a big old game of Monopoly, and you're just not trying to go bankrupt. That's really what it is. And so, crazy thing about it, like a month later, maybe PayPal thought I wasn't about to be in business no more, and we're still, but you got to understand too, like during this time, I'm not just like, I am pouting in my own head and going home, whatever, but I'm grinding, okay? I'm trying to get more sales. I'm trying to figure this thing out. I took back over my ass. I'm like, we about to get this thing. Business start turning around. We started seeing a little increase in sales and things like that, even though in our slower season, starting seeing some increase in sales. Lo and behold, oh, PayPal, my best friend, where were you when I needed you the most? Now they want to offer me a loan. Oh, great. So I was able to apply for that loan, pay off this predatory loan, and I was able to make it through the year. And so my main lesson points of all of this is what I want you guys to take away from this. Take away this. And if I could do anything different during that time, again, I don't think I made too many bad decisions. There was a lot of things I just didn't know. But the main takeaway I would take from all of this was that I just didn't stack up the capital before I busted these moves. That's the main lesson you take from this, okay? If I would have applied for the credit and everything when things was sweet, when everything was good, when I had money in the bank, right when I was like, back in 2017, like before I hired my first employee, before I had anything, before I had more expenses, like if I would have just figured out how to get the working capital in order to sustain like the growth and even though I didn't know certain things would hit the fan, but just I didn't realize the importance of just having access to capital. Not that I'm going to need to use it. And if I would have known better, I probably would have waited before pulling some of these triggers until the capital aspect was fine. Because working capital is the most important thing. It's the lifeline. Positive cash flow is the lifeline for your business. This is why a lot of people raise money. This is why a lot of people, hopefully got big savings or just, have some access to money. Like that is the bloodline of your business. So if I could go back, I would have stacked up the capital, stacked up my access to capital. Maybe I would have opened a line of credit or something like that. There was a lot of online line of credit things I was getting denied for. I probably would have applied and took the PayPal loan at the time when it was available to me, even if I didn't have to use it. Like if you find yourself in a position where your business is doing okay and you can see some growth that you need to take, I would just really think about what if your plan for growth does not go exactly to plan? Can you withstand that if it does not happen? If your answer is no, you want to make sure that you just have a plan B, plan C, and just really have your capital in a good position. That would be the number one takeaway out of my whole speech. But yeah, that's when I thought I was getting out of business. And all that being said, I definitely need a drink. I know I forgot to toast at the beginning, but I need a drink now, so I'm about to. Shouts out to making it through the rough times. But yeah, I mean, this was just a story I wanted to share for, since the start of this 9% show. Like I said, everything's probably been sounding real sweet, and I'm just the best guru out there. Like I just knock it out the park left and right. Everything I do is just hot. No, okay. I went through a lot of ups and downs to get things to the point where my business was stable and consistent, and a lot of lessons learned. So that is my lesson for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please continue to like and subscribe, man. We appreciate all the support that has been coming our way with these episodes. I don't know when we gonna release this episode or what number it will be, but it will be in the double digits by that time. And I'm just so happy and so thankful for all your support, for people I know, people I don't know, new followers, new subscribers. Like, I just really appreciate it. And I really hope these stories and this content is really starting to hit home. As always, please leave some comments. I check them all out. I'll like it. I'll reply to it if it's a question. Just really appreciate it. Until next time, I will see you later on the 9% Show.